All right, so this is The Mitchells versus the Machines. It's a Netflix movie that came out not too long ago. It's directed by Michael Rianda and Jeff Rowe. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are actually producers on this, and they have a pretty good track record. You know them from like the Lego Movie and Into the Spider-Verse and stuff like that. So in this movie, Katie, played by Abby Jacobson, she's weird and kind of quirky, and she's really into like making her own films. So she's gonna go to film school pretty soon, and that causes kind of a rift in the relationship between her and her father Rick, played by Danny McBride. But she gets into film school. She's about to go, but the dad character, because he wants to fix their relationship, decides to go on a road trip with the family rather than having her fly down to school. Her mother's played by Maya Rudolph. The character's name is Linda, and Michael Rianda actually plays Aaron, and we'll definitely get back to that. So, because I have something to say about that. So they're on this road trip, and there's it's kind of a dysfunctional kind of family, kind of a weird family. So they're always getting into like these little hijinks, and the robot apocalypse starts, and they're the only people left because everybody else got picked up from the robots, picked up by the robots. So yeah, they pretty much just go on this adventure to try to save the world while also being a pretty dysfunctional family. Now this movie was great. Like it's I mean the animation is beautiful. I mean it's very expressive, a little too expressive. That's kind of what they're going for with this, and the characters are all likable. The family, you really get into their family dynamic. There's a lot of touching moments with them, especially between Katie and her father. And yeah, I thought it was well written. It has some clever comments about our over reliance on our phones and on the internet. There's also a really funny moment where the person that's behind this turns off the Wi-Fi and like it just goes apocalyptic like almost immediately.
Does anyone want to take pictures of my food?
Hey lady, can you unbox this in front of me? The old world is dead. To restore the Wi-Fi, we must make a sacrifice to the router.
It's a very fun and colorful movie, and the climax I thought was really strong. Like the climax is insane. Like it gets pretty crazy with all the robots and like fighting the robots and everything that's going on, and there's music playing at one point. It's pretty crazy. So this definitely feels like the best movie I've seen this. No, this is definitely the best movie I've seen this year. I think they did a good job on it. So negatives. There's some trouble. Well, we'll start off with Michael Rianda as Aaron. I don't know how old this character is supposed to be. I mean, he looks like he's like 10, but the which I guess is the director, his voice acting, it's like the guy is like a young man, like a whiny kind of young man, and he looks. I mean, because look at the character. I mean, he looks like a kid, like a legitimate kid, but the voice acting for me just didn't fit. Because I don't know how old he was supposed to be, but that was kind of weird. I was like, how? There's also quite a bit of kind of tropes type thing. The dad and the daughter are having issues. So what does the dad do? Get up in the middle of the night and watch old home videos of him and his daughter. It's like, okay, they have a family that they're jealous of, their neighbors that are, such a better family and stuff like that. And obviously that's going to have a payoff later on when they finally get their family together. There's that. There's the father being like, hey, get off your phones. Your phone is blocking the way. You should be using these. There's that stuff. There's some on the nose stuff with, like, there's this character named Jade that Katie is becoming friends with, and they're on the phone and they're doing like FaceTime, and the character's name on there was, because she's a film fan and she's going to film school, her name on there was Jade Runner 2049. I was like, okay, I caught that. That was a little bit on the nose. I don't know if you need all that, but probably the main thing here is that is the main character, mostly with the setup. Like the main character is like I feel like they're going a little too far to make the character like quirky. You know, like it works for this movie, and she definitely, I definitely like her character as we're going forward. But like, you know, she makes these little weird little, you know, films, and she uploads them on YouTube and stuff like that. And it's like, where does she live at to where that is just so lonely? And like, you mean to tell me like none of the other kids in her high school and things was interested in film, was like wanted to, you know, people would be interested in this. Hell, they'd even want to probably be part of it. You know, like I make these little shitty ass reviews on YouTube, and it seems like everybody in my personal life, when they find out about it, is just all over it, wanting to see it and stuff. So the idea that she can't find anybody in this world, in where she lives at, that could be interested in this stuff, and she's just so lonely and nobody understands her, and oh my god, I finally found my people, is ridiculous. And by the way, she didn't find her people. Like, she's so, they go so far with the weirdness with this character, that it goes past like eccentric, it goes past creative. She's just fucking weird. Like, she's gonna still be weird at film school. That's the way it came off. That's pretty much it. That's my nitpicky nitpicky stuff, is that, you know, there's some writing tropes, especially early on, and you know, some of it feels a little bit on the nose, and some of the jokes don't land completely, because I mean, this is still a family movie at the end of the day. But I still think it's really strong. I loved the climax. I really like this family, to the point where if they do make a sequel, I'd like to see it, just to see what's going on with it. I don't think this would be that kind of movie, but if they do make one, it could be cool. Yeah, I think it's easily, well, the best movie I've seen, but it's easily probably going to be one of the best movies of the year, at least animated movies. So I'm going to give this a Beyond Awesome. That's my highest rating. I haven't given that to anything this year, I don't think, so this is definitely the best movie I've seen this year. And it was a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix, you can watch it. I mean, yeah, it's very accessible. And that's it. That is The Mitchells versus the Machines, and we're done.